Hello, welcome to How Do You Not Know This, the podcast where we talk about things that almost everybody knows, but some people don't. How do they not know this? And Exhibit A, we present...
It's me.
Dom Hatton Woods.
How do I not know this?
Who is patient zero, who often does not know things that everybody knows. And Tony Vino and I, Daliso Chaponda, talk to him about those things.
That's me. So, just quickly, I've had a fucking nightmare of a weekend. Last weekend, this weekend hasn't happened yet.
Well, nightmare of a weekend, including dude stood me up as a wingman.
I know, man. That was bad. I've got excuses. I've
I
got
was
family
going out with
commitments.
some women. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to go out and be outnumbered by women. I suggested that he come as my wingman. Also, all the women I was going out with were very attractive.
Look. I said to you I couldn't come because I was meeting a lady. Me and that lady argued. I regretted it.
You regretted it.
Badly. And I even messaged you saying, "Where are you? I'll come now at like 1 a.m." And you said, "No."
I was doing what?
No, you went. You can't come unless you've come from a gig. I don't know what.
No, because it was close. It was a walking distance from Creatures.
I would have driven.
Well, let's not. I mean, the thing is, I've obviously married kids, but I have been your wingman before, haven't I?
You've been a great wingman.
I'm the perfect wingman.
Very
I'm
good
just
wingman.
like, is everyone all right? Can I get a drink? When can I go? When am I not needed?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. If we're talking to wingmen, there was one. We did a show in Aldershot, I believe, right?
Aldershot,
and Torsha, and one of the lady staff, the staff
Yes.
at the very nice lady. And at the end, there was a poster that said, "Who are you?" And we were talking, and there was another lady, and there was a poster that said, "Who are you going home with?" Right. So I read
Yes.
that out loud, and one of the ladies, she was like, "Oh, who are you?" And it was as if they'd spoken and said, and then we left, and he went, "She would have gone home with you." And I went, "Well, you could have told me that fucking 10 minutes ago."
No, but that literally was you not reading cues. I thought you weren't interested.
I'll take whatever I can get. Interested.
It's a beautiful sentiment. John, really is. I mean,
We're gonna get women
you're
in
romantic.
droves writing in. He'll take anything. I'm available.
All right.
I'm available.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. No.
yeah.
I think.
Not Matt Rife.
I don't think you started. I'll take anything. I get to. I'll take anything. So when I'm single for a month, I'm fine. Single for 2 months, I'm fine. Around 8 months in, I start getting to. I'll take anything.
There's that song, isn't it? Closing time. Dun, 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 and basically it starts to ring in your ears after
Yes.
about a month.
That's so funny that your takeaway from that was a song.
A beautiful song.
Anyway, so this weekend.
So what was your night
So I
there?
went to London to do 2 gigs at Big Belly Comedy Club. Closing one show, opening the other. Meant to be off stage at 9 p.m. Victoria Coach Station is a 15-minute cycle. Coach home was at 9:30. I thought easy. Show runs late, obviously. Cycle there. Get there at 27. 3 minutes to go. I see people sat outside the Manchester coach bit, and they're waiting to board. Perfect. I'll go get a fucking pack of crisps. Came back. That is now said Southampton. They were waiting there for the next bus.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So I went, oh shit, what can I do? And then there's one at 11 p.m. Get on that. I said, okay. I had work the next day at 12, so I had to get back.
Oh, man.
And they go, that's sold out. You can be on standby. So I went, all right, put myself on standby. Meanwhile, a woman from the show messages me saying, you can stay with me.
I like that a woman from the show messages you. How did she have your number?
On Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Well, she went,
On
great
Instagram.
show, and I went, can I stay with you tonight, please? And then I thought, I'm going to have to fuck this woman just to
That's
not be...
pretty strange. Exactly. Did you say yes before looking?
Just to not be homeless for the night.
You say that, but early on in comedy, I used to go to gigs with nowhere to stay, and on stage, I'd say, "Is there anyone who's got a couch or something I can stay with?"
But the issue was...
that was pre-Instagram.
This is now pre-Instagram. Back in
the issue was I worked the next day. I'd had to buy another train ticket to get back the next day. It's another £50. Anyway, I got the late bus. They let me on the 11 p.m. And then I wake up the next day to go to work. Had 3 hours sleep. I hadn't slept the night before either. And the marathon's on, so I can't even leave Chorlton. Oh, God. Fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
So I cycled. I had to message my boss. Said this is. I cycled to work on a bike. My mate Ethan's bike. I don't even own a bike. It was a
Ethan's
child's
6, by the way.
No, genuinely, it's a child's bike. And I got there half an hour late, and she went, "Not good enough." And I thought, no. I said, "Hang on a minute. I got it half an hour late on a child's bike. I'm trying my best to.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Tell you what, good enough. I'll take the stabilizers off next time. Man.
I realize that I never really have in my life the opportunity to shake my head at someone and say not good enough.
Just look at yourself
I
in the
need
mirror.
someone to
That's what
boss.
happens.
I need someone to boss around and say not good enough.
Do you?
man.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a flex. That's a power flex.
Well, she didn't say that, but she looked at me as if we're disappointing. I've just
Not good
come look at
enough.
this bike, and then you'll understand.
If ever you need to say that in life, that's just
Oh, come look at this bike.
not good enough.
Oh, right.
It's like I don't think I could ever just look at. So I think that's when I'd quit.
Quit.
What about? Did you feel like just going? That's it. I'm done.
No, I was just like, I was covered in sweat. I was like, most people would have waited till the marathon was on, but I was like, I've tried my best.
You
to.
did well because here
But
Manchester
she's a nice
Marathon
boss.
this whole area is blocked.
They don't let
off,
you.
innit?
I said, when
There
can
are
I?
so many people.
I said, when can I get out? And they went, you can't, mate. I thought, that's not a way to run the world, is it?
I watched the Manchester
Just because someone wants to go for a run, I can't go and earn a day's
Yeah.
wage.
I watched it on Sunday, the Manchester Marathon, and a lady collapsed next to me with heat exhaustion, and then I went and got an ambulance for her.
So I have a friend who daily makes me feel like a failure of a human being.
Oh, thanks,
Okay.
man. Appreciate it.
So this is Steph Reed. She's my friend who was a Paralympian.
Paralympian. Yeah.
So this is her week, last week. Okay, my week is a few gigs, lying around and visiting a friend. She beat a Guinness Book of World Records,
Yeah.
sitting in the air for an hour.
Yeah.
And then, around 3 days later, she did the London Marathon. So just after your body is totally falling apart from... and I'm just like, I am a fat bastard. I am such a fat bastard.
She's already got one prosthetic limb,
Yeah.
so she's doing all this with less
Yes.
With
Yes.
less limbs than you.
Yes.
I just reckon if I've broken a Guinness World Record, I'm taking the week off.
I'm taking
right?
the month
Maybe
off.
2
Or
weeks.
maybe 2 weeks. Like she's just on it. She's just on it.
incredible.
Like and I'm going to watch a musical with her on Saturday, right? And I think I am going to feel even more pathetic because
Why?
between then and now she'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? I just climbed Everest." Ah, no!
She'll probably be in the musical.
Yeah, it's like
No, we're watching another. I did a reality show, and one of the guys used to be in The Wanted. He's a musician, and
right.
he's in a musical, which we're going to watch.
he's in it. Oh, fantastic! Right, there we go.
I wouldn't just be going to watch a random musical.
Why not?
I would love a musical.
What's wrong with that, man?
If I'm going to a musical, I'm either seeing a friend who's in it, or it's a date, or they need a purpose. Do you just go?
A normal play. I genuinely want people to burst into a song. I
Have
love
you?
a musical.
When was the last
It's
time you went to a
amazing.
musical?
I'd have to be trying to sleep with a woman.
Exactly my point. It either needs you're supporting someone in the cast, or you're.
I figured out my morals are. People have asked me a lot recently. I met a few new people and they've gone, why don't you drink? Would you drink? And I said, I would drink if that I was at a party and there was people from Netflix there, or there was a really attractive woman. They're my morals.
Okay.
Career or...
They're not morals. They're just guiding.
That's not a moral.
Not even principle.
Yeah, that is
Behavioural cues.
that is yes.
oh, God.
So with this podcast, right? We're
Yes.
looking at me and Daliso thought, right? What will we ask and see if
And-
you kind of have a basic understanding
Because
of this time.
we always
go.
give Dom questions to see if he knows things, and
Yeah.
usually he doesn't know them at all. But this
Hang on,
time,
that was offensive.
no, this
True, but
time
offensive.
I actually think Tony's gone too far, right?
No.
Because Tony messaged me what he thought we should grill you on this week. I was down with my friend Karen and her kid.
Yeah.
Her kid is 8, roughly. So I asked the kid. The kid knew all this stuff.
See, I'm worried because I was
Oh,
like,
God.
because we've not done any
We've
done any reading on it.
it.
And I just thought this is we all know this from school, and you spent an extra £110,000 on school.
I didn't spend anything.
Well, and
Well,
I thought,
just in case he knows the two things you suggested, I've got one
Have you? Good.
I've got one backup
Here we go.
because you
So-
might just laugh in our face.
We just thought like, I did what's called single modular science, right, at school, right, which is like
You're
basically
complicating it.
which is-
Start with the thing. Start with the
So
thing.
here we go. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So something that we remember from right. Let's go with the precipitation cycle. Do you know what
Fuck
that
off,
is?
mate. What the? No.
No. That's a fancy name for it. Tell me what you know about the water cycle.
The water cycle.
Water cycle. Yeah. It's not like Booper.
You don't know what
sponsor
the
it.
water cycle
I
is.
just got some out the
Like,
tap
how-
a minute ago.
So how do you know what's the difference? Like fresh water and salty water, saline water. What like? How does the water? How do we get?
Goes through a filter.
Yeah, that's in your house. But like, as in, how do we get like water in this? What's the?
I wish
where's
my
seawater come
friend
from?
wasn't.
This
so
is great.
my friend is not the sort of person who wants her kid all over the internet, or I would ring him now
Yeah.
and get the
Get him
8-year-old
on.
explanation.
Yeah, but he's in school, so he's got this information
not in
fresh
school.
off.
He's
Alright,
not in
fair
school.
enough.
Yeah.
Why not?
So do you not remember this from?
Self-taught.
Do you remember this from science class though? There was a picture like with a like an arrow going around, like clouds, water, like rivers. How do rivers form?
The circle
Where does the water?
of life.
So,
Yamama,
so you know you've
yamama,
got like
yamama.
clouds, right? And you've
Where do
got
clouds
rain.
come from?
Where do clouds come from? Here we go. Why are clouds there?
Just so you can't see the sky.
You're faking it.
I'm
You know
actually
where-
not. I
You're
really
not.
don't know.
Actually can't.
You
It is
know
Do you
where
just
think
clouds-
I've ever faked this podcast?
I often think you're faking
No.
it for humorous effect.
No.
So they're not there so that we can't see the sky, right? That sounds like a
They're there to
conspiracy.
stop the rain.
They've got rain in them. They've got water in them, haven't they?
Well, they produce rain.
Yes.
Do
Oh
they?
my goodness, it's fantastic. So they rain, right? And then, but what happens is the rain comes down. Yeah. I can't believe.
I
we're
can't
doing
believe it. I'm sure he's winding us up.
I'm not.
it. So
Do you remember the Jesus one?
there's a
Yes,
but like, have you never just looked at a cloud
Okay,
and gone?
so clouds.
Hang on a minute. I'm not liking this, Anna. If this is in school and you're
Yes.
teaching me,
Yes.
this is
This is
two-
not how we would
I
teach
mean,
you. This is
I've
not how we
not
you
would
two
passed my
need-
PGCE yet.
This is a good point. This is a good
How
point.
could
This is a
you
good
not
point.
So basically, water cycle. Here we go. Right. So basically, you've got evaporation. You know what evaporation is?
Yeah, when you like go on the that's condensation.
That's condensation. But evaporation is like water vapor. So like you basically imagine the sea, and then the sun's on the sea, and then water vapor comes up, and that forms into clouds. Yeah?
Right.
That's where a cloud comes from. And then it blows over land, and then it hits like hills
colder
and mountains,
place, yeah.
colder place, cold mountain. And then you know what? Then it rains. So that's why the Kendal is the most precipitous part of the UK, as in it rains the most. And then that comes down like streams, and streams turn into rivers,
Right.
and then rivers go into the sea, and that's the water cycle. That's the precipitation cycle.
Right.
Isn't that
Is
cool?
this vaguely?
Does that touch nothing?
Even if you weren't paying attention, do you maybe remember a drawing with like arrows where there are clouds and mountains and?
The only thing I remember from school is the chemical chart because I watched Breaking Bad and it's the logo.
Oh, okay. Well, from Breaking Bad, not from school.
Not from school. Well, maybe it re-sparked it for me.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Science was one of the ones I listened to the least actually.
Okay, got you.
Me too.
Got you.
I mean, I understand that.
Oh,
but I do remember.
I'll tell you my most vivid memory of science class, and this, in my defense, I was 12,
Okay.
and the teacher was dissecting a frog,
Wow.
and all of us has gathered around, and this very attractive girl had got up on a table because she couldn't see, and she had bent over to look, and everybody, all the girls were looking at the dissection of the frog. All the guys were looking down her top. It was so funny.
That's
it was like we had no idea.
That's brilliant. I remember one science class. They got out. He got out a radioactive rod. Hello. Like and it put on like a lead cloak, and use a Geiger counter. Like
Yeah.
brrr, and that was amazing. And then he had a thing, like some pliers to hold it, and then it dropped. And we all had to stand up, and then he was like, he couldn't pick it up with pliers. He just went, awesome, and he just picked it up like that. It was like that.
Where did you go to school?
Just Preston. Looks at an ordinary school, but we still managed to have a radioactive rod.
So risky.
Basic science, right? What do you know the difference? I remember this. I learned this in primary school. What's the difference between what about an invertebrate and a vertebrate? Do you know what an invertebrate is?
Wait, let's start simple. Okay, what's the difference between a mammal?
Oh yeah, mammal and just an animal.
No, mammal.
Mammal and a bird.
Mammals
and a
are
reptile.
animals, aren't they?
Okay,
sorry.
mammal and a reptile. You would vaguely remember.
One of them's got air, probably.
It's true. Breathes.
One of them's got air.
Through lungs. Breathes through
One of
lungs.
them lives in aquariums.
So anything to do with think about heat
Reptiles can probably deal with more heat, I would have thought.
could do with more heat.
Deal with more heat.
But do you know? Have you heard anything about cold-blooded, hot-blooded?
Do you know? So
The reptile's cold-blooded.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
They do look it.
their temperature is their blood
So-
is the temperature of wherever they are.
Right.
Right. So if they're in a hot place, their blood heats up. If they're in a cold place, their blood cools down.
Right.
What
How
are you
about that?
looking at?
what are you looking at there?
I was just looking at your mic, but it's
Oh,
fine.
thanks very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice,
Good.
isn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't do a testing.
This is so that's great. Okay, so you've got reptile, cold-blooded. You know, now mammals, it's mammal. You know, like they you got mammary. They feed their young with milk and stuff like that. So you've got like worm mammals.
Also, the big one is this one. They reproduce.
Reproduce.
They have sex. They don't lay
Mammals.
eggs. Mammals. We're mammals. We have the fun sex.
Reptiles don't have sex.
Well, they'll lay an egg, and then the other guy will, the other one will come and fertilize it separately. So imagine instead of having sex, right? You pick up a woman at Creatures, right? You take her back to
Reptiles.
You don't touch each other because you're reptiles, and she just squats in the corner, leaves an egg and leaves, and then you go wank on top of the egg. Right.
Wait, I think he might have done that. Honestly, no, John. I think that was just an average Wednesday night.
There's a reason I'm not a science teacher.
Yeah.
That's such an immoral way of describing it, but it's accurate.
Invertebrate. So, what about like?
This is a dead end.
Here
isn't
we
it?
go. What about like skeletons? Vertebrates. You know, like invertebrates.
It actually you didn't pay any attention in
Like
science class.
nothing.
I guess not. No.
So you paid attention.
Nothing.
So actually, not necessarily. So you paid attention to golf. So you paid attention in.
I would have paid attention in PE.
In PE.
For the last, I liked PE.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know about the body then?
Yeah, I know quite a lot about anatomy.
He was a personal trainer. He knows about all. You know the quads, and you know the.
Yeah,
you
of
can
course.
name all the
It's to the
muscles.
bottom.
So he's got.
It's got-
I don't know where all the muscles are. So that.
I'll name point at some muscles and I'll name them for you.
Oh, fantastic!
Okay,
Here we go.
Now, calling it a muscle is very optimistic. But what is that?
Well, that's the forearm.
Forearm?
So you got your tibia, your fibia, and all that. What about the latissimus dorsi? Where's that?
In the lat.
Nice. There you go.
I don't know what that is. What's,
Do you know what the serratus is?
The what? The serratus.
Serratus anterior.
Oh, anterior.
So you know when you see someone who's in really good shape and they look like they've got 3 ribs
Yeah,
under
those
their
little.
nipples.
Is that
That's what
the?
that is.
Oh, fantastic. What about the brain? Do you know about the brain
No,
structure?
The
Stop
brain
there.
doesn't come up in
The brain didn't
personal
come up in
training.
level 3 personal training qualification.
You gotta get to level 4.
You got you.
Alright.
Yeah, so you're very practical.
Well, the thing is with the personal training, it was a means because I had to pass that to do personal, which I wanted to do. So I had a means to it.
So then you
there was
had a
motive.
means to do it. Yeah.
But I hated the study days. Had to go on the studies, sit in a classroom all day.
Wow.
I was never so focused in that I just wanted to have good grades. So, but is there anything where you paid attention to and nothing
I think
else?
grades are pointless. It's not. I'm doing all right.
Well,
No one's ever asked me, and if they have, I'll just lie.
Okay.
And it's never been an issue.
But also, that's because you've chosen a path which is like stand-up
They
comedy.
didn't ask me as a bin man. They didn't ask for my GCSEs.
Yes, again,
Yeah.
it depends. It depends on the path you're on. Depends on the
What are you
path
trying
you're
to say?
on. All right.
What are you trying to say?
No, I'm saying like, for example, I left it behind, but when I was doing programming,
I got into
you
university.
couldn't-
I
you
got into
couldn't do that
university.
As in, did you lie about your grades going into uni?
No, I was actually very honest.
And Should they have let you in?
No, they just couldn't. They needed students.
They needed students. No, but again, you were doing an arts degree.
Yeah, but I reckon.
No. I actually think it's interesting because often, like I haven't done it in a few years, but before the pandemic, I used to do like workshops for kids in schools, right? For comedy and stuff like that. I think you still do these sometimes. And what I'd often find is kids who are bad at science, bad at math, etc., it would be great for them because they're like, I can do this. I can be funny. So I think it's a different brain. It's a different side.
Yeah, there's kind of like...
I think it's like, because my incompetencies are a blessing.
Tell us how.
Well, because we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Do you know what? That's true.
Okay, you're right.
That's true. The
You're right.
world, you're welcome.
The world's now a better place.
The world's a better place. The world's a better place.
You wouldn't. You're suggest because I had a podcast with my dad, and we've all been friends for a while. And
Yeah.
you said to me, you should do a one-off, and I said, well, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't a complete
It's a
idiot.
good point.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
point.
So-
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be one episode.
all those days you were staring
7.
off into the distance at school, you were like, "Sir, I'm
I'm
just
going to have a podcast with Daliso Japonda.
preparing for the future."
And then he goes, who's Daliso Japonda? And I go, I'm not sure yet, but
I'm right.
I'm not sure.
he's out there.
It's really important that I don't work hard, and it's going to pay off in the end.
I'm just there going, no, this isn't good for the podcast.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually going tonight to see. Like, I wasn't a very good student at school. Since school, I've got into things like history, philosophy, theology, all that. But I'm actually tonight meeting up with my old schoolmates. I haven't seen them in over like 30 years.
So you're
Incredible.
not doing a gig tonight?
No, I'm going to go up to Preston. We're meeting, and one of them got in contact out of the blue, right? Mate called Twinny, and he was like, and he just was like, "How are you doing?" And he told me some. He said, "Remember these stories from school?" I was a bit of a plonker.
Here's my question to both of you. Do people who you're at school with, are they surprised you're a comedian, or does it make sense to them?
Well, these guys, they came to see me.
Yes,
and they were
came
like,
to a
they
gig.
kind of, they got it because I was always a bit kind of dreamy and I wasn't very academic.
He said he was dreamy.
So they kind of saw it made sense.
They kind of sort. Does it make sense to yours?
Yeah, none of them have ever questioned it.
Across the board, total shock.
Really?
Total shock. I was very bookish. I was very academic. They thought I'd be a lecturer or write books, which people academic like. I was not. I was funny, but I wasn't like you would never think I would end up being a comedian. But I also think that's why I was drawn to it.
Oh, yeah, I liked making people laugh. I used to make people laugh inadvertently. Like he texted last week, this friend, and he was like, "Do you remember this?" And I don't remember it. He said, like, for instance, one day at school, they called him and his friend called, and they went, "Oh, Trev." They used to call me Trev back in the day. Trev.
Why?
Right, because my second name's Trivino, so it's not Vino, it's Trivino.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So he went, "Trev, are you?" What are you wearing for non-uniform day tomorrow? And I was like, "Oh, is it non-uniform day?" And
sneaky bastards.
And then they all, like, in B block, there was like 40 people, and I was like, "I remember that day." I'm walking in, and everyone just going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And just like I was a bit dumb. So I was actually, I like maybe people laugh, but I was actually the butt of a lot of jokes as well. You know,
A lot of comics were bullied.
Yeah,
And that comic was the bully.
Yeah.
You're playing against type. You're playing against type.
Good times.
Yeah, I was never the bully. I was.
It's great, man. You should try it. It's fun.
No, I was always bullied.
Yeah,
I was bullied until I was around 15.
Yeah.
And then 16, 17, the last few years, I was funny.
16, same here. Once I got to college, I could use, my kind of personality to kind of
To distract people.
distract me from getting bullied. Yeah.
Back on track to the lesson.
We're on track.
Okay.
The lesson. What happened to the lesson?
Well, we've told you about.
Is this a dead end now? Was this a dead end now?
We can keep going.
I think we should keep going.
Basic science.
So the more complicated thing which I had brought, because I thought,
hang on a minute. Hang on. Was this meant? Did you think this was going to be simple?
yes, I had a backup.
I thought you thought this was going to be too hard. You thought it was going to be too easy.
I thought you were going to know the cycle and laugh in our face. Right. And I thought you'd be like, reptiles, I know what a reptile is. Fuck off. Right?
Yeah.
So my backup was something which is kind of usually, do you know what the scientific method is.
There's just one.
Yeah,
Go on.
scientific method.
Which kind of
Or
science?
otherwise called the empirical method. But what the scientific method?
Further word empirical. Empirical data?
Yes. All
That's
these
the
words
word,
come from
yeah.
the same place. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And empirical means...
We'll just keep that rolling.
Okay. Okay, so, like, how do you acquire knowledge? How do you learn stuff? Right? It seems obvious, but
doesn't.
people
to be
learn
honest.
different...
people learn different
Don't ask me
ways.
that. Don't. People learn stuff different ways, don't they? So you got visual learners,
Yes.
physical learners.
But
no, is that not what
I
we do?
will say, like, until like the ancient Babylonians and the ancient Greeks and stuff like that, there used to be a lot of this is the way things are. Like someone would tell you the sun comes up because the sun god pushes it in the air, and people would just tell you stuff, right? And you just accept it. And sometimes it could be absolutely nonsense, but there was no way to sort of figure out what it was. And so the scientific method was developed by these early scientists. And we use it to this day. It's going to sound obvious because we all do it, but it never always was this. It's observation. So you see something, you come up with a theory, right? Like you see a white dog, you see another white dog, and you think to yourself, maybe all dogs are white, right? So it's observation followed by come up with a theory, then you experiment or test the theory, right? You find as many dogs as you can until you find others, and then what's the next word?
So you got
There's something, you debate it, think about it, and then you come to a conclusion, right? So it's that thing, you observe, question, come up with a theory, experiment, and then you come up with I may be doing it in the wrong order, but that scientific method is what pushed us forward, because it would be like, you know what I mean? That is how they figured out the world and how the world works.
Right.
So you think about empirical, like if there's empirical data, then you basically go, okay, there's empirical data behind this. You create a hypothesis, and then you test it out and see if the data matches up. And then you've got like correlation. Remember the word correlation? Something correlates doesn't necessarily mean that it is causation, but the theory is sometimes correlation does lead to causation. So that happens because the data stacks that way. So that's the scientific method.
And my favorite thing about it is that it can change.
Yeah.
You can come up with a conclusion, and then something else comes which proves it wrong.
Yeah.
And you're open to it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm from a very religious country, and that doesn't apply. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, hey, I've got some questions here. I think this doesn't apply anymore. And I think it's very healthy that we're always questioning things.
Yeah. There was things like, I mean, I didn't pay a lot of attention to science as a kid, but there was things like that were hypotheses or conclusions that, science has moved on. We've changed it. Like things like, remember Neanderthal man? When I was a kid, it was assumed that, in the evolution cycle that we were, Neanderthals were ancestors to Homo sapiens, but they were like, actually, no, it's a different species track, of, so it's kind of things that, move on a little bit. There was like, is it now seven types of species of Homo erectus, Homo.
But it's also
other
that
ones.
thing that if a person from 500 years ago appeared here now, they would think we're all wizards.
Right.
All of this would be mad. Like how would they look at a camera and see their image in a camera walking around? But I always think that's interesting, because if we go forward 500 years,
It's going to be the same.
it might be the same. We
Well,
might
probably will
not
be.
grasp anything that they're doing.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
I mean,
It's kind of interesting, I guess.
you guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as these things have gone.
Well,
That's our science.
it's always nice to
our basic science
I
episode.
I can just feel like you're a science teacher at the end of a lesson, just like, okay, guys.
You know what we should do at the end of whenever we reach the end of the season?
Yeah.
You should ask him one question from each episode.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
see
yeah.
if anything stayed.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get one of my teachers on.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be great,
There-
wouldn't it?
I
That
don't
would
know how-
be
and then-
great.
I don't know if they'd come here though.
We
Today,
could go to your school. Is it far?
4 hours drive.
Oh, no.
We need some
we could, get
Patreons
him on,
first.
we could do it on Zoom or something like that. Like we could send him this and
I'll
say,
message
look,
some. There was one that was from Manchester. Maybe he's here now.
it won't be a great advertisement for the school,
I've got
will
a
it?
teacher here.
It's closed down
but
now,
that was
isn't
my art teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She lives in Bolton.
Oh right.
Yeah, mine are probably all dead.
Because you killed them all. One by one. There's only one who you've not ticked off.
So to wrap things up, I said I mentioned before we started. I've been thinking what I would like from a partner.
Yes.
I tend to speak about women a lot, so I've thought to myself, well, if you'd like to find a woman that you like, you've probably got to have some things you look requirements and checkpoints that you're looking for. So I've currently got two.
Two
Okay.
requirements.
So
So
two
far,
requirements.
this only started last week, by the
Okay,
way.
no, let's guess. Okay, number one, you
Okay.
want them to be very hot. You want them to be very
I am
attractive.
3. I forgot about
Three,
that one.
okay. So he wants them to be very physically attractive. He wants them to have low standards, right?
Hang on a minute. What are you trying to say?
No, I was kidding. Okay, so very attractive. You want them to be easy. You want them to not be wanting to wait a long time.
You don't want, you don't
Well,
want
like sexually easy.
No, we're talking. What about like high? You don't want someone who's high maintenance, like easy to get on with.
And you
You made
want-
more than I have.
You want them
Crikey.
to. Oh no, with these aren't
Okay.
hours. We're trying to
I'm
get
saying
to.
you're
So
making
go-
more. You add into my list
Okay,
more than I've
listen.
been
You
able
want them
to.
to be funny.
Let's
Haven't. All right, the two I've got.
have you.
Okay, what are your
is
two?
they've got and this sounds bad, but they've got to go to the gym or do some form of physical activity they like to do. And that's not me saying they can't be,
No, you just.
they have to be active.
Yeah,
Because
you're very active.
Okay.
I'm very active, and they've got to enjoy doing something. I have a hobby.
Okay.
basically, they do outside of their job. Assume they have a job. Second one, they've got to like me, and more than I like them, or at least as much.
How do you measure that though? How do
Because
you know?
generally-
You know.
Generally,
you know if
I've
someone likes you more than you like them.
dated so many women, and I've gone, you don't even like me.
Now you're married, so it shifts as the marriage goes. But like at the beginning, you know.
But when you like a girl more than they like you, it's so exhausting.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's like
That's the
I've got to impress you all the time.
You know, that's it. An unrequited love and all that. It's the worst.
so that's what
But
I've
it goes
got.
up
no
and
point.
down. But it changes.
The gym, and they've got to like you. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you're in with a chance. I really do.
Yeah, that's not that hard.
chance.
All you need to do is pick up people at the gym. You already know
Yeah.
that they go to the gym.
But like, I went out with a girl the other day, and we went out. We went for a drink, and then she was meant to come to the show, and I didn't really enjoy her company. So I thought, Vino said an hour. So after
Yeah.
an hour, I went. I think this is it. I think this is it, innit? And she was a bit upset, but I was like, we're probably not going to see each other again.
Okay.
And then she said, but it's been an hour. And I said, yeah, but that's the time that Tony Vino said. We're allowed to do.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Right. I was wondering what I got.
You got
Turned
cool.
up to my door crying. How could you? Okay, I've turned it to 90 minutes. It's a movable.
I'm also officially on the next phase. So for the first chunk of time since my breakup,
Yeah.
I wasn't hanging out after gigs, mingling, trying to pick people up. I just had no patience for it. Now I've started chilling after gigs. I'm in phase 2.
Phase 2.
Phase
This is all part of the healing process. So now we're.
How's your marriage going?
I'm in phase 3 right now. I'm
No, you
hanging.
look very in a good place, actually.
Well, no, phase 3 is fine. I'm. You know what?
I've seen downs. They're on and up.
We're doing good.
Marriages
You know
go
what?
up and down. But they're in a good
It's
place.
like you go through different sort of periods. I think we've been married 18 years now. It's a long time,
How long
isn't
have you
it?
been together?
We
17.
She turned up earlier, but basically, yeah, it's great. It's like it's just so easy. Like you just know each other, but you know what makes each other laugh. I think it's also to do with the kids' age. Well, they're 12 and 15, so they can now look after
they can look
themselves.
after themselves,
We can
so you
go
can have
out,
your own
have a
moments
bit
and
of
stuff.
fun. So you know what's great? If I was to say, if you were to add to the list, I think it's just someone who makes you laugh. That is so important. Like me and Claire laugh so much together. She makes me laugh all the time. She's funnier than I am.
Add that to your list.
It's got to be. And hang on, I went out of a go there. It's got to be someone that finds me. If they don't find me funny,
No, that helps.
Does help.
The way I actually put it is we've got to have good banter.
Yeah.
In that the laughs can be coming from me or coming from her, but she set it up, I knocked it down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're going bang, bang,
Totally.
bang, bang.
Because eventually they know everything about you. Like, like
I
for me
did
and
a
Claire.
rant with this woman last week, which was so funny that I'm going to put it in my stand-up. But
Brilliant.
it couldn't have happened without her giving me the first line that I bounce off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, it's brilliant. It's like eventually you know everything about each other. So in some ways you haven't got stuff to talk about because you're like, I know every story. But if you can laugh about stuff, then you constantly are able to chat about stuff. The thing I would be worried about in a relationship is if you get those couples that are just sort of staring at each other, nothing to say. And then, they come to like a gig or something like that and they're like, I can't wait till the break's over so I can watch something else.
Yeah. Well, we met this guy who had this trophy wife. Well, very attractive.
My dad.
Well, I don't know if she quite qualifies, but this was... No, she's okay, but this one was ridiculous. Like, this was like...
Where was this?
We were doing a gig, and...
Oh, was that the one where
two guys showed... this guy and his girlfriend, who looks like a glamour model, walked up to talk to us. But it quickly became apparent he was more interested to talking to us than her.
Oh, that was it.
Because she was really attractive, but really boring.
Yeah.
I
really
remember this,
dull.
and I got chatting to him, having a great time,
and
I could see you just sinking into your chair.
Her, and I was like, I can't believe that I'm talking to one of the hottest women I've ever seen, and I just want to leave. She was so dull.
Yeah, and he literally. I was trying to end the conversation. He was like, "Please keep talking, man."
Keep talking.
I'm having brain rot talking to this girl. Yeah. Make each other
So
laugh.
on your list, you have to add.
Yeah, that's very wholesome.
Yes.
Well,
But then also very important, don't tell people your list.
I reckon you can.
Don't put it on a podcast. For whatever you do, don't put on a podcast. This is out there.
No, because
I have to make a new list. Doesn't like
if
me.
you say you've
Doesn't
got a
go,
list,
Jim.
it's very insulting, and women are
I
like,
think you
oh,
say
really?
a few
You've got-"
things I want from a partner. That's
Yes, that's a good way of saying it.
Maybe just don't say it.
Things I'm looking for in. Yeah,
From a person.
that sounds all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a list.
You got a list.
Tick
Here's a
it
quarter
off.
on my list.
He's making a list.
You don't
He's
go, Jim,
taking it
motherfucking
twice.
Everyone's got a bit of a list.
Yeah. You're just very honest with it. Well,
I'm a very
done.
honest,
'Cause
direct
the thing is, you
person.
don't keep things. Yeah, you go. I've just thought this.
I
I'll
wouldn't
put it
have
up.
expected it, but I think my list is more shallow than your list.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe I've got more points to it.
No,
I
because
haven't.
I'm like attractive,
Have you got- no, it's not
kinky, funny, passionate.
I've got to be attracted to them, obviously. That's very important.
Attractive, kinky, funny, passionate.
That's it.
Okay.
and have some kind of faith.
That sounds like a song.
Faith. Yeah.
And B often cancels out D. So I'm saying that my need for them
B
to be
cancels out
kinky
D.
often is in opposition of them having to have faith. And so it shrinks my pool.
You know what? Some of them nuns.
I'm looking for them to wear the nun's habit both
That's it.
seriously and in fun.
You're hanging around gyms. He's going to like
The
monastic
convent. I met nuns. Oh, this is terrible.
There we go.
All right, that'll do. I reckon.
That'll do?
You've got to go. Thanks, everyone. Subscribe, join the Patreon. See you next week.
And if you are a nun, slide into my DM.
Oh, yeah.